guys, when you go out to buy a saw, don't go and buy the biggest thing that they got. It's okay to run something that may not be as quote as macho or anything, because y'all see all the saws right there on the floor behind me. What do chainsaws really weigh? You see the stuff that's in the specs on them when you look at the websites of these manufacturers, Steel and Husqvarna, that's what all these saws are, and they tell you the weight of the chainsaw. That weight is only a power head. That's no bar chain on it, no cutting system whatsoever on it. That is not full of gas and oil either. So the reality of things is that's not the real deal. So what do these saws actually weigh? You don't ever see anybody, you know, put the specs up with the bars and chains and full of gas and oil. What we're about to do is I'm fixing to go down through here and top every one of them off, and then we're going to weigh them all. I'm going to tell the lengths of them. Each one of them's got different bars on them too. So we've got I'll just do a quick rundown on them. We'll start from smallest to largest down here. These are the top handle saws. And no, by the way, this is not all my saws either. These are just some of the main ones that I use a lot. I still have a few more than this, but we're not going to weigh them. That's the old style Husqvarna 335 XPT. I actually have two of those saws. It's got a 16-inch bar. The T540 XP, that's their newest version of the gas saw, the biggest one they have, top handle. It has a 14-inch bar. Then we got the battery top handle saw, the T540 IXP. That one has a 14. The one sitting beside it has a 12. Then we step up to the rear handle saws. That's the Steel 261C. It has a 20-inch bar on it. Then we have the 550 XP Mark II, has a 20-inch bar on it. Then we have the newest 550 XP, has a 16-inch bar on it. And then we have the Steel 362, has a 20-inch Sugihara bar on it. Then we have the 562 Husqvarna. It has the 24-inch X-Tough light bar on it. And we have the Steel, the 400C, has a 20. Still calls it 25, but it's still a 84 drive link chain. And when you put them up side by side, they're the same length. So you could take that chain off at what they call a 25 and stick it right on the on this 562 right there. Then we have the 572. It has a 28-inch X-Tough light bar on it. And we got one of the old 372s. It's got a full wrap panel on it. It's got a 20-inch. That's an Oregon Husqvarna branded bar. Those are Mack trucks, the chainsaw bars, Oregon bars. We're going to talk about weights too and balance and all that stuff in this video as I'm weighing these saws. I think hang around, because a lot of stuff that I'm going to tell you is very helpful. Going to be very helpful information. Then we have the 500i. That's a fuel injected saw. It's got a 25-inch bar, which is identical to the one that's on the 400 right here on it. And then we have the big boy here. We have the 661 Steel. That's a 90cc class saw. I do have a 36-inch ES light bar on it, which is, you know, it's the same style bar as that one, and that one, it's just that one is a 36. Okay, let's talk about bars for just a second. Bar weights, bars make a huge difference on saws. Some of these saws, when you get up into the longer bars, comparing the light bars to the regular bars, you're going to get between 2 and 3 pounds of weight difference between them, and that's a lot on a chainsaw. But there's give and take. So you've got like this bar here. This is the old Oregon Power Match bars. Like I said, these are the Mack trucks of chainsaw bars. Not much flex in them. They're tough as heck. They'll take a licking and keep on ticking. See, that's a 28 right there. However, when you step up to the light bars, you get a lot of flex. There again, give and take. The longer the bar, the more flex you get too. So a lot of times, like if I'm gonna cut a tree down with the 661 and I'm gonna bore it, I'll bore it with a shorter bar. That way I don't flex that bar so bad, because when you flex it, it's real easy to throw the chain off. I don't like throwing the chain off, but as you can see in the video, sometimes when I'm boring in, Even with the 24s and the 25, man, the bar will have a crazy bow. I can actually see it when I'm running it a lot, like when I'm cutting limbs and stuff like that. I can see the flex in the chain. So there's give and take on that, but also there's a lot of weight savings on it. On these Sugi bars, they've got a plastic inside them where they're cut out. The steel bars, they're filled with aluminum right there. They're just cut out on one side. I really like the ES Light bars. I like them a lot. They're good bars. So we'll set the camera up and we'll go through here. Some of these saws I already know are full of oil, like the two top handle saws, so I'm not even gonna check them. But I'm gonna pull the caps off each one of them, set the camera up where y'all can see. If you see me pull the cap, put it right back on, it's already full of gas. I think that the only one that's going to be full are going to be those two right there. So let me get this going. It's going to take a little bit to do this, and then we're going to weigh every one of them just like how they're set up, and I'll call out what each one of them, the specs on each one of them too. So that's 15 saws. I got one of these saws that I'm going to put my normal gas in, and well, I got a couple of them I'm going to put normal gas in, and which is going to be this one here. All right, I think you can see the screen. I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna call out each saw, the bar length. I'm gonna put it on there and I'll call out the weight. First saw, 335 XPT. Got a strap on it, so it's gonna weigh a couple ounces more. Arbor saw, 10 pounds, 5.4 ounces, 16-inch bar on that saw. And we've got the T540 XP, 14-inch bar on it, 10 pounds, 15 ounces. And the 540 IXP, T540 IXP with a 12-inch bar, 10 pounds, 1 ounce. BLI 200X battery, same thing here, BLI 200X battery, except this saw has a 14-inch bar on it. 10 pounds, 6.2 ounces. And we're going to get into the 50cc class saws. 261C, 20-inch bar, chain on it, 15 pounds, 7.2 ounces. .550 XP Mark II, 20-inch bar, X-Force light bar on it. Of course, that's the regular heavy bar on it. This is a lighter style bar. So we're at, pay attention to these next few saws. This is going to be really interesting. 16 pounds, 4 ounces. Like I said, that's a 20-inch bar. Here's 550 XP Mark II with a 16-inch bar. X-Force bar, 15 pounds, 3.8 ounces. You see that? A pound difference between those two saws and 4 inches of bar length there. We got the 362 20-inch bar, Sugiar bar. 1713 60cc class. Again, pay attention to these next few saws. 1713 20-inch bar. All right, 562 60cc saw, 24-inch bar. That's a X-Force light bar on it. Get it where it's balanced there. There we go. We are at 19 pounds, 2.6 ounces. A lot of difference there, notice that? Pounds, 2.6 ounces. Big difference. Bar length. Just a few inches of bar makes a huge difference on what these saws do right here. Now we're at the 400 C class. This is a 67cc saw, 25-inch bar, ES light bar on it. 18 pounds, 7 ounces with a 25-inch bar on that saw, 67cc. That's back to the 362, 1713, 18.7. There is an incredible power difference between those two saws right there. Now the 70cc class saw. This is the 572 28-inch X Tough light bar. Go there and get it balanced. Y'all see that? Coming back. 21 pounds, 10 ounces, y'all. It's a 28-inch bar. That's when you start getting the weight. This is a 372 20-inch bar. See, we're at 20 pounds, 8 ounce, almost 9 ounces. That's with a 20-inch bar. Full wrap handle on it too. Gonna add a little bit of weight to it, not much. 500i full wrap handle, 25-inch bar. $20 pounds, 7.8 ounces. That is full wrap handle on this saw also. All right. This is the 661. This is a little harder to get up here because it's so big. Uh-oh. .661 36-inch ES light bar, 24 pounds, 6.7 ounces, right there on the scales. What the saw weighs, and this saw has a full wrap on it also, so you can add some weight to it there. This saw right here is the most impressive one out of the whole group. 18 pounds, 6.9 ounces for the 400C. So this wasn't really a comparison to, you know, see what saw was the lightest or anything like that. It's just the mere fact of what the saws actually weigh, because when you put the cutting system on them and you fill them up with bar and chain oil, they change drastically from what the manufacturers tell you in the specs, which is correct, what they're showing you in the specs, but it's not reality. It's not what you're going to be toting around out there, because you're never going to go to cut a tree down or cut firewood down or cut a limb down in your yard with just a power head that don't have any gas and oil in it or a cutting system on it. When I say cutting system, I'm talking about a bar and a chain. The more bar and chain you add on it, it changes the saw a lot. It can change the weight several pounds. So I want to talk about balance for just a second. balance is the feel of the saw in your hands where it's balanced. It's balance feeling. And for me, balance is very important. A lot of people ask me about a 395. I like a 395. That's Husqvarna's 90cc saw class. Great saws. They're tanks. They're built like tanks. However, they're very heavy and they're not balanced. I can't run a 395 very long. It just gives me out. I'd rather have a lighter saw, give up a little bit of power to be able to run longevity. Longevity is what it's all about. You know, the more weight you put on yourself, you know, here, when you got it here, and then as you reach out with the saw, it puts a lot on your body. So if you got a lighter saw up against you, you can reach a little bit further with it and things like that, and it doesn't give you out as bad. So the people probably want to know what's saw that I like out of this group right here. The 400C, as far as power to weight, the saw is very impressive. However, you're looking at $1,000 saw, but the saw has a magnesium piston in it. The 362 and the 400 are the exact same saw, other than the jug and the piston and stuff on that 362. Everything on this saw will interchange right over there on that 362. But so let's go back to the balance. People ask me all the time why I'm running the steels and what have you and all that. It's because, or want to know about the 500. It's because of balance. It's simply the balance. The saw, when you got it in your hands, I can run this saw for a very long time. It does not feel like what it actually weighs when you're running it. I think a big mistake, a huge mistake that guys make, especially guys that don't run saws all the time or very much, or very proficient with them, and on a weekly basis or something like that. Having a saw is a guy thing. I understand that. I get that. You want the biggest, baddest thing you can get in your hands. You want to be able to sit around with your buddies talking about it, bragging about it, the bar length you got on there. However, I think a lot of people get in trouble on that because they get way more saw than they actually need, and they can't be as productive with the saw as what they would like to be. Whereas if they backed up a little bit and got something else, most of the time, for most people, the 50cc saw class will be just fine. The 550 XP Mark II 261 steel, put a 20-inch bar on it, you're fine. Some guys say, man, I don't like to bend over. A lot of your cutting ain't at the ground anyhow, and it's not. I'm 5'9", and it's even with this one with the 16-inch bar there. Again, it goes back to the quote macho thing. Nobody wants to see somebody. The people running the saw, they don't want their buddies to be able to see them with a little short bar on it right there. But let me tell you, you can take this saw with this short bar on it, topping and limbing, and you can make somebody look like a fool with a 25, 28, or 32-inch bar as they're trying to swing it around. You can roll down through there with this thing and walk the dog and kick the cat, come on back, and I mean make them look like a fool, because this thing is absolutely nothing on the tip of it to roll the saw side to side and things like that. But so the Husqvarnas, like the 372s, the 572s, in my opinion, the balance is not that great on them. Now, I have ran a 592, okay? I will say this, with a 28-inch X-Tough light bar on it, Husqvarna did a very good job balancing that saw out. It does not feel as heavy as it actually is. With a 28-inch bar on it, I believe that saw weight, I got a picture of it, I'll post it. I'll try to remember to post it at the end of the video. I think it's 23.8 pounds full of gas and oil with a 28-inch X-Tough light bar on it. This is the 592 right here, full of gas and oil, 28-inch light bar, 23.8. So you can work a lot longer with a lighter saw. So you know, if you don't want to run the 50cc class, because predominantly they come with a 325 chain on them, which I love that chain. There's nothing wrong with that either. The 60cc class is the saw to go to. Your 562 Husqvarna or your 362 steel. You're in the $750 range on that saw, so you're not in a lot of money. The weight of it, it's got a good weight. It's not heavy. You're not over that 20-pound mark yet or anything, not even close to it. That's why I like the 400 so much. The saw's got insane power, but the problem with this saw is it's $1,000 saw. When you get it with the 25-inch bar, you're gonna spend $1,000 on this saw. If I'm a homeowner or something like that, I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on this saw. If I'm doing what I do, where I'm making money, running day in and day out, I mean, I run incredible amount of gas to these saws nearly every day running them. I like this saw a lot because the weight of it, but then the power that it has versus the weight, it's a lot of power right there. I'm only gonna pick the big stuff up, the 661, the 572, those saws like that, when I've got some big cuts to make and I want to do it and I want the power. I do a lot of cutting with the 500. When I've got a square ground chain on this saw too, and so if I'm running, you know, stuff that's not giant, but I really want to hog it out, this is my go-to saw right here. So I'm gonna run this one till I get those cuts made or whatever, or cut the tree down with it, and then I'm gonna stop and I'm either gonna pick up, if I still got decent sized cuts to make, I'm gonna pick up this saw right here. If the cuts are not too big, then I'm gonna drop back and I'm gonna go to the 362 or 562. I like running the 562, but see, I've got two different bars on the saws. I got the 562, I got a 24 on it. The 362, I've got a 20 on it. So if I'm cutting smaller limbs, you know, or rounds or something like that, I'll drop back to the 362. And the reason why I'll do that, or the 562, the reason why I'll do that is to save my chain over here on these saws, because the 400, the 500, the 661, and the 572 are primarily my cut downs saws. So I don't want to be cutting stuff on the ground, because even I'll hit the ground every now and then. I want to keep on running. But guys, when you go out to buy a saw, don't go and buy the biggest thing that they got in there. Don't walk in there and you're gonna be cutting firewood and walk out with a 462 or 572 or something like. Don't overbuy yourself on saws. It's okay to run something that may not be as as macho or anything, because the other thing too, if you don't run a saw all the time and you're running a longer bar on it and the balance is not right, it's very easy to cut yourself. Very easy to cut yourself, as opposed to running a 20-inch bar on a 50cc saw like this. And the other thing too is the upkeep on, say, a 50cc saw is not nowhere near like the bars and chains are very inexpensive for them, even the high-end bars and chains, and they don't burn much gas either. If you burn 2 or 3 tanks of gas through one of these 550s or 50cc saw, let me tell you, you have done something. Like when you get up like there's give and takes again. When you get up and you start running like this saw here, you're gonna flow a lot of gas through it. The 500 burns a lot of gas, 661 does. You can burn a lot of gas through the 572 also. So I wanted to do a video showing the differences between that. You can back it up and look at it as I call out the weights on it. And like I said, it always intrigues me, because I don't pay really any attention to what the specs are online or anything like that as far as power head weight. I want to know what that thing's going to weigh full of gas and oil, and with the cutting system on it that I'm going to choose to run. So people ask me, why do I have so many saws? Well, say I'm doing say I've got a job that I'm doing. I don't have time to be going to the truck, getting saws. I'm pretty much, when I go out there, I'm going to take 2 to 3 saws with me. And those 2 to 3 saws are pretty much going to get me through the day. Sometimes I hit the ground, or I may hit some metal or something in a tree. Well, then all I got to do is turn around and run to the truck and grab one of my other saws. Just go grab it, keep right on rolling and running. So let's say I'm going to do a job today and one tomorrow and one the next day. I've got enough saws to get me through those 3 days. When I come in and I restock stuff on the truck, ice in the cooler, all that mess like that, I've got other fresh saws on the truck that will get me through the jobs that I'm going to be doing. And then once I get done with all of them, then I can bring them all in here, clean the air filters out, go through them and sharpen them all. And so as I run through the chains, you know, I don't have to, quote, keep getting a saw out. Sometimes I will stop if I don't have a lot going on, and I'll work a chain, sharpen it, something like that. But again, don't go in there and have your eyes set. You know, if you go into a Husqvarna dealer, you know, you got your eyes set on a 572 or a steel dealer, or a 462 or something like that. You don't have to have anything like that if you're a homeowner. I mean, unless you just want something like that. You know, there's guys like that. But if you do go that route, when you get up 60cc class and above, these saws now, the auto-tune, the electronic stuff, they have insane power on them. I mean, just crazy power. I mean, the 500's fuel injected. I let Justin run it the other day, and he said he thought he was running, he thought he had like a race car in his hands, the way the saw, because the saw just runs. And even the 592 Husqvarna has a version 3.0 auto-tune on it. Don't even have a choke on it now. The saw will crank cold on the first pull. Purge it, pull it, cranks. And it's nuts, the technology that's in these saws, and I love it. You know, Husqvarna Steel, people ask me that all the time. Look, they're both great saws. They each have really good points. They each have really bad points on them, and you have to make up your mind, the dealer that's there. I run both of them because of the fact, when I do the saw classes and stuff, that people come in with both brands, and I need to be able to run either brand proficiently, you know, be able to pick it up, because the kill switches, the chokes are different between the two of them, and so there's some differences there, and I need to be able to be proficient on both the saws. So hope you enjoyed that. If you got any comments down below, any input that you want to add in there on it, you know, your different experiences, stuff like that, thoughts that you have, add them down in the comments. Like I said, this is not, you know, a Husqvarna Steel thing. I like running them both. Like I said, like a while ago, I like both saws. I'm just thankful that both of those compete against one another at the level that they do, because all it does is it pays off for us in the long run. And if you think about it, the technology that's in these saws, it's a miracle that these things don't cost $4,000 or $5,000 a piece. Thank goodness they don't. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to me. I appreciate it. It's free to do. It don't cost you a dime. Just click that like button and subscribe. We'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.